Hey Gab, Facebook, YouTube, it is Kevin Newsom coming to you from Houston, Texas today. I hope you're having a good time wherever and whenever you're at. Today I'm going to be focusing on a solution to school shootings. You know, in the wake of the tragedy in Florida, several voices in the media and on social media have begun to call for the banning of assault rifles and even gun confiscation in general. Instead of trying to take away people's rights and instead of punishing law-abiding citizens, however, I think it's time we talk about a more practical and positive solution to the school shooting issue. And to find this solution, we need to look to nature. We need to look at the laws of nature that really govern not only human activity, but activity of the world all around us. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the most vital and universal laws of nature that exists. And that law is strength always targets weakness. Strength always targets weakness. You know, if we look at the history of human affairs, we see this law of nature play out continuously. Historically, when two nations go to war, one nation will wait until another is at its weakest point before it attacks. Or if two countries are already at war, one country will wait until there's a weakness in the other country's defense before going on the attack. Strength always targets weakness. Now, this universal law can be applied in several other areas other than direct warfare. Take a look at the courtroom, for example. A prosecutor will always attack the weakest point of the defense. And conversely, a good defense attorney will always attack the weak point of the prosecution. We can apply this example to sports as well. For those American football fans out there, the quarterback generally does not purposely throw into triple coverage. Generally speaking, a quarterback will wait until there's a one-on-one matchup with a receiver and a defensive back. And generally that receiver will be taller or stronger or faster than said defensive back. In other words, the offense always tries to attack the weak point of the defense. Strength always targets weakness. We see this not only in human affairs, but in the animal kingdom as well. Predatory animals such as lions and tigers and wolves won't attack the strongest members of the herd. Instead, they will focus on the weakest members. That means the old members, the slow members, the sick members of the herd. Again, we see this pattern over and over in our world. Strength always targets weakness. So when I hear individuals saying we need to further restrict firearms ownership, when I hear individuals saying we need to ban assault rifles or ban guns altogether, I have to imagine they're not fully understanding the situation at hand. Take a look at where the majority of these shooting incidents are happening. They're happening in places where there are no guns. They're occurring in places where people are completely defenseless. So logically speaking, the best way to prevent such attacks from happening is not to further weaken the citizenry and prevent people from defending themselves. The best way to prevent attacks from happening is through strength. Typically, we don't see active shooters targeting police stations. Typically, we don't see active shooters targeting people who are well armed. Do you think hunting would be as popular if the deer could shoot back? Do you think fishing would be as popular if the fish could fire hooks into boats and drag the fishermen underwater? And the answer is no, of course not. If these animals were able to defend themselves with equal force as to what the hunters and fishermen bring, hunting and fishing would be a dying sport. Again, strength always targets weakness. So instead of saying we need to ban guns, we need to restrict gun ownership, we need to punish law-abiding citizens or make it harder for people to defend themselves, instead we need to make it easier for schools and students and teachers to defend themselves. You know, sometimes I wonder about the priorities of our society. I wonder why it's much more difficult for me to enter a bank vault or a corporate boardroom or even a sports stadium than it is to get into a school. Why do we have better security in a bank vault or a corporate boardroom or a football stadium than we do at our schools? Can we not agree that children are our future? And as such, children are the most precious resource we have. Now, if we can agree on that, why are we focusing our security efforts? Why are we protecting our CEOs and our money and our athletes more than our children? Why are we spending $200-300 million for a new football stadium as opposed to strengthening our schools? Why are we subsidizing entertainment instead of protecting our children? My friends, the answer to stopping these school shootings is not taking people's rights away or punishing law-abiding citizens. The answer is not showing weakness or further weakening our schools and their ability to protect our students. The solution to this problem is through strength. Strengthening our schools, strengthening our teachers, and strengthening our students. The only thing a predator fears and respects is strength. Therefore, we need to focus our efforts on that. It's time to get rid of gun-free zones at schools. It's time to stop making victims out of our students and teachers, and instead teaching them how to be strong. Once again, this is Kevin Newsom coming to you from Houston, Texas. I am advocating strength, not weakness, liberty, not tyranny, and freedom, not slavery. Si vis pachem para bellum, Deo vindice.